Okay, it is the last day of 2021. It is 9:22, the last morning of 2021, and um, the markets are not going to close early or anything. I think the bond markets too, they close at like 2 p.m., so it's not going to be a different trading day in terms of timing. But because it is the last day of the year, I'm going to be a lot more focused in terms of checking to see if there's any, first green day OTC or even a listed stock runner, because that is something that could happen on like special days like this, that there's just some stock that goes up like 300% or something crazy like that. Besides that, I am going to be focused on morning panic bounce plays, and I'm going to watch AABB, not because I want to trade this for a morning panic bounce play, but because in theory, something out of my realm, at least right now, is trading stocks that are uptrending slowly, or at least are in a potential move towards the upside in terms of where it's been on the daily charts. And yesterday could have been a day where I could have been in at the market close right at the very end. I'm gonna see what this one does today, if it has like a gap up or anything. But this one could be like a first green day setup at any point. AABB, nothing with SBES that I want to trade or be interested in, unless it has like a really considerable morning panic bounce play. AXXA could be a morning panic bounce play. HMBL probably not, because it doesn't have the best daily chart unless it does something super nice. In that case, I might be interested in it. ILUS is nothing really that interesting that I want to be doing unless it makes something clean. This one was running and then it got all weird. CNGT, it's just going to be a watch. I'm going to focus on morning panic bounce plays in the morning, of course, because that's what I think I know best. But I will also be looking for any uptrending stocks that might make a nice setup. Alright, it is 9:36. I just had a very sketchy trade with AXXA because this thing trades with a humongous spread. This is me right here at 755, 3,500 shares sold. And I was in for what looked like a morning panic bounce play. Had a drop from 80 to 71.5. The issue is that this thing trades with a really wide spread. So I was, 934 in right here at 7.3, which was the ask. And again, it trades with a spread. I was in at 7.3. And just because of how sketchy it looked, I was very interested in selling quick. And what got me really interested in selling on top of that is because I got in at 73, and 73 became the bid. And then the ask was like 78, right? And the issue is that the guy at 78, it might have been this one, I don't know. He might have dumped his shares later, but there was a guy at 78 with like 82,000 shares, and then there was a guy at the bid, two guys at 73 with 10,000 shares. So it was just looking like we were going to hit a top, or at least there was going to be way too many sellers at the ask for my interests. So what I did was put a sell at 73, assuming that maybe I would get something in the middle, because there might be like, hidden bidders above that 73. And that turned out to be the case, because at 9:36 right here, that was me. That was a sell right here at 755. Yeah, this thing's just scary. I mean, the spread and the liquidity is pretty low, but that's interesting. This thing was not necessarily hard, but just scary, the trade. I think I made, I don't know, maybe $9 from this, thing right there. I don't really know the exact number, maybe $8 and something cents, but I was in at 73. I sold at 75.5, 3,500 shares. Why only 3,500 shares? I did trade kind of small because the thing is a super, jumpy stock with a lot of range. And I was in right here at 7.3, right? But I was interested in getting out if it were to have broken 71.4 for sure. So that's the idea there, and I'll make an update later. Okay, it is 10:07, and as for any setups or anything like that, I don't see anything that I would be interested in trading right now. Maybe AXXA could finally break the 76 level and do something nice towards the upside, but I don't necessarily see anything nice myself. AABB is nothing interesting to me. ILUS is nothing interesting. This one is interesting. This one offered a few dips towards VWAP and then it would kind of uptrend, but I don't want to trade something like that. I want to trade something clean, and that one sure is offering something. I just don't want to be that guy who's just jumping in and out of the bounces. I just don't want to be a part of something like that. And as for anything that is uptrending or something like that, I just go by how many trades something has traded. So whatever has a decent amount of trades and then also up a certain amount that's considerable, that's what I'm interested in. And I saw BLFE, PRMK. None of these are really that nice, right? PRMK is low volume, and I do not remember what the other one was called. I think it was BRMP or something like that. Something like that. What is it? BLFE. Oh, it's totally off. Wow. Yeah, BLFE. Nothing really right now. I just don't like how it's a higher priced OTC. Also trades with a bit of a spread. Not as bad as some of the other ones, but I don't see really anything cool here. And then if we look at some listed stocks, which is right here, NTRB is actually still at that same range. And I forgot how that one was spelled. I got it right. Yeah, nothing really interesting here either, so I'll keep looking. Maybe something will pop up and do something pretty cool. Maybe this can break the day high and do something nice, but as of right now, I don't see anything that I necessarily want to trade. Alright, it is 10:13. I'm pretty sure I did not trade this one accordingly to a dollar risk level because of how quick it was. But I saw the volume pick up immediately in these two candles, and I was in for what could have been an intraday breakout, and right now it's doing it. It's just a bit freaking scary because you never know if you get in something like this and it looks like it's trying to do it, and then boom, big red candle flashes and everybody's crying, right? Or maybe the thing is uptrending, and then because it's a listed stock, it can just do a big sell with a lot of size and scare everybody out, or it can just continue the uptrend, being the last day of the year. It has maybe some news or whatever, the stock is up for a certain reason, whatever that would be, and then it's just going to do something pretty impressive. But it was just something I knew that at least I was going to trade, but necessarily how well, not very well perhaps. But let's just go ahead and go over this. Again, this was a breakout. I was in at 10.11. It's been a while since I traded on Schwab, but 10.11 was my entry. It was this candle right here, and I was in at 9.04, right when it looked like it was about to work, and then the next candle kind of looked like it wasn't. And then I thought, geez, am I really gonna be a part of this thing that just pops and then it just dumps or something like that? But it continued the uptrend. It shot to the 940s, and then it started to come back to the 930s. And I guess the nerves had the best of me, but I knew it could have been something that could continue, and it's actually still continuing, so that's pretty cool. So at this point, I would just probably, although I don't know how well this thing is going to work on the listed stock, just throw a trend line, and then if it breaks the trend line, get the heck out. Or if it looks like it's going to before it does, get out. But then it still might continue the uptrend. So that's what I would do if I still had any shares left. But I think that was a step in the right direction in terms of learning how to trade this thing. Let's see how off I was from trading a $5 risk level on this listed stock setup. It might try to break it. It's technically still holding it. It's still holding it. It's like right at it. Mind you, my best sell and my only sell was at 937. It's at the 990s. It's holding it. Okay, that one's kind of breaking it. I'd probably be selling some, if not everything. I'd probably sell just half, maybe. I'd sell 3 shares. Actually, maybe 2 shares. And then if it continues to break further towards the bottom, I would probably then still have some pieces left, because it's not like a clean break under. But at the same time, what if it just barely breaks it a little bit and then it has a big sharp red candle? Now it's officially out of it. I'd be out of this completely, right when it started to transition from this candle to this candle that was clearly outside of the trend line. Now, does that mean it's going to go all the way to zero? No, it just means that maybe it might not continue an uptrend, at least for now. It might catch its breath and then continue maybe a little more gradually towards the upside. Would have been pretty cool if this thing were to have broken the day high and then get halted. I've always wanted to be in something like that, but that didn't happen here. Yeah, it still might try to follow the trend line but be under it. I've seen that happen a few times, but yeah, that was my sell there at 1012, which was right here at the the high 930s, almost 940. Right here was my sell, and my entry was right here. I didn't get, all of it. It got to $10, but still pretty impressive, and it can keep going the rest of the day or something like that. But yeah, let's see how off I was from trading the $5 risk level. If I had more time to think, I probably would have been able to have been sized a lot more, but in theory, you're in at this level right here. I'd probably get out if it were to have broken the 850 level, because that seems a bit important. And then maybe there's slippage, so I'm out in the 820s. Yeah, let's say I'm out at 820 and I'm in at 904, so 45.20, right? 45.20, 40. I actually was close to a $5 risk level. That's actually kind of crazy, huh? Well, I actually traded close to a $5 risk level. I guess I was sized accordingly. Nice percent gain. Didn't make that much here, but that was a listed trade. Obviously, I'm better with OTCs. I like OTCs more, but if it's gonna have a intraday breakout on something that's been uptrending the entire time, I'm gonna take that. And now it looks like it might try to catch its breath, maybe like a baby bull flag here. I'd be worried if it breaks 965 now that it made a low there, because that was the low right before it started to have a green candle and potentially reverse. Let's see if it holds 967. If it does, it can try to re-break the day high. It's trying to get to the 10s. There's a bit of amount of people dumping their shares at the bid, which isn't ideal, but let's see. Nice. Wow, just like that, 1040. With a jump that crazy, there's probably a lot of idiot short sellers. This thing can continue the uptrend. It totally can. It might fall off a cliff too. Because listed stocks like to have a big red candle and wipe everything out. But I'll make an update to see what this one does later. This one was pretty nice. This might be the uptrending stock before the end of the year. It's almost 200%. It's already in the 160s. Maybe this is the ultimate top, but I feel like this thing can continue the uptrend for what it is. It is 10:22. I just want to record the price action because it's pretty cool. It is following the trend line, but it's under it. So the fear at this point is that I guess I can draw it. The idea is that it will maybe continue to follow it, but the issue is that let's make this a bit larger. Let's make this thicker. The issue might be now that it will continue the uptrend, right? But then it's going to eventually gain some distance from trend line, and then eventually it might downtrend, and that would be kind of it could be kind of iffy. It could consolidate and maybe break out later, or maybe instead of that it's going to start to lose momentum. People start getting scared. But I mean, being the last day of the year, some people are probably putting in all their money or shorting all their money, just crazy, because they want to close it off great and they're an addict or degenerate. But that's the idea of what this one could potentially do. How much higher is it going to go? It can go a lot higher, but I'm out of it. I'm not trying to chase it. It would be dumb for me to trade it here. Even if I just put in one share, it's just, I just don't want to, be degenerate. But this is cool. This is really cool. I've seen this a few times. It follows a trend line, and then it, follows it on the bottom part. And it's a lot harder, I think, to really tell when this thing is gonna maybe lose momentum besides looking at the volume and price action. But I guess you can throw in another trend line and see how well it follows that. But or maybe one from here, and then it has to stay in that range, sure. But I don't want to look like a maniac with 59 trend lines across this thing. But in terms of this one, you know, it was following it here on the underside. Let's see if it maybe here starts to lose momentum. And those are things that I went over in that, you know, drawing. But that's cool. 1163, right? And I was in at 904. Again, I'm not an expert with listed stocks. I like OTC so much more, but I can't ignore a nice freaking intraday breakout again on something uptrending the entire day. It would have been nicer if it was like right at VWAP too, but you know, when they float above it, it can get crazy like it is here, and the volume kicked in. That was one of the main reasons why I got in this setup. Barely held on to my trade, but they're just scary. At least if you ask me, with the amount of experience I have. This is a nice setup though. It might start to lose momentum here, but I'll make an update later to see what it does. Okay, it is 10:39 a.m. and I want to make an update. As for NTRB, it kind of did what I was saying, that it was going to follow the underside of the trend line, and it did do that, and it started to gain some distance from it, but it wasn't that much. But I understand the fact that it was, you know, probably going to scare a lot of people out. Big red candle right here. I would have thought maybe it would have consolidated more, you know, again further away from the trend line, but it would have consolidated a bit more and then have this red candle. But I guess it was a bit of a hybrid in terms of what I was thinking of, but it did do a distance from the trend line that was considerable. But I would have thought it would have done it a little more. But hey, it did do the thing I was thinking about for sure. And I want to go over the and also this thing can go either direction. It might be interesting if it tries to make a move and break the day high again. That could be nice, or maybe it will just downtrend it. And in that case, I might. Yeah, I do have the ability to short on interactive brokers, but I probably won't do that. And as for PR, MK, this is the OTC version of the big, you know, 300% runner for today, the last day again of the year. And it was just hard to trade this because the volume wasn't really there. And I like how it, you know, it broke this high right here at 457, kind of bounced back and forth, but I would have thought this thing would have lost momentum at some point and started the downtrend, but it actually caught itself and made a move towards the 58s from the 46s. Not very good because the range, the spread is huge, just like AXXA, which still hasn't broken above this level at 765, and it's no longer something I'm interested in trading because of the time. But yeah, that's the idea there with PRMK. You know, it can go further, sure, but this is definitely the OTC runner. And then, you know, NTRB being the listed stock runner. And I like NTRB more just because of the fact that it has more liquidity. PRMK is a bit sketchy, but it does offer moves. And I already went through a sketchy, you know, low volume trade with AXXA. Or at least in terms of liquidity, it's just, you know, another one of those. And I'll make an update later, although it'll probably be later in the day, or maybe even at the market close. Unless I happen to trade something, I won't be really watching these too much, unless maybe again NTRB does another breakout, and that would be pretty cool. Okay, it's 3:12 p.m. I've been casually looking at the markets. If I was mega risky or mega ballsy, I probably would have considered one of these dips. But that's not really how I want to trade these things. I just want to go for the nice and simple breakout like it was back here. And right now it's 3:13, so the time is running out for this to try to do something nice. But it can try to do a breakout. I had a dip here, had this uptrend here, and now it's trying to fight this resistance level at roughly 1125. So it's just going to be a watch. Maybe it can try to do a breakout, but the volume needs to come back, and on top of that, the time is running out for it to do something, but it'll be on watch. And there are some other ones. right? Like IQST that we're uptrending today, and RGBP. Some of these are really trying to reverse. So yeah, there's nothing really too crazy. And as for that AABB I mentioned early in the morning, it would have been a sell for break even right at the market open, but then it did have a nice spike to 17, which is cool. Excuse me, that's all I have. And HNBL also uptrending. I like NTRB the most, and yeah, just nothing really right now, but you know, I could try to do something later. And as for AXXA, kind of faded away. That rhymed. I'll make an update when the market is closed, unless I happen to trade NTRB, but I don't think I'll do something nice. It can though, there's always a chance. It is 4:37 p.m. and I am here to call it off. This is the very last day of 2021, and I finished up about $10.39. I had one trade with AXXA, which was a profitable one. I think my buy was somewhere right here at 934.73, and I sold at 75.5. This might have been the same candle that I sold at. And I also went with NTRB, which was a breakout setup that I did not do that well. But you know, that's fine. Again, I'm not really that good right now with listed stocks. I'm much better. Yeah, just to summarize, I'm much better with OTCs than listed stocks. But I recognized the breakouts. 10-11 I was in, 10-12 I was out, and that was a trade there. And I was watching it to see if maybe it can try like a follow-up breakout or something like that, but it didn't necessarily do any of that, which was fine. And it did hold this trend line, which has now disappeared pretty nicely. That was a pretty cool thing to watch and learn from. That's all I have for today. There were some very nice moves, and the OTC runner, which was sheesh, I don't know if I still have it anymore. It didn't really run much more. It just continued to stay the same. Let me see if I can freaking find it. What is it? Was yeah, PRMK. There we go. I would have been upset if I didn't have that remembered, and you know, for this video. But yeah, this was it. Much happier with NTRB, even though it's a listed stock, because I just like the way it traded much more. I don't want to sound like a, you know, a dying record, but I'll make one more video. It's not going to be this year, it's going to be next year, and I'm going to go over I guess how much I'm up on the year, and what I really need to do next year. I need to really just trade larger and not be so afraid to scale up. It's been daunting me. I've been really trying to you know, reach the certain goal of just completely being break even, making up all of the losses I made back in 2015, 2016, when I first tried day trading before I quit, you know, and didn't come back until last year in 2020. I'm so close. I'm like $30 from, you know, just getting back to the zero mark, and I want to beat that for 2022 and continue forward and scale up. And I'm really thankful for God for the opportunity. I'm not going to say it was all me. That's stupid. A lot of it was credit to God, you know, just for being able to be given the opportunity. That speaks volumes, and I just have to keep going forward. I'm very happy with the way I traded today. I'm glad I got to $10. You know, it wasn't my goal to get $10. It was just my goal to trade my best. And yeah, that's all I have. Pretty good 2021. I have a lot of things I need to keep getting better with in 2022, and God willing, I'll try doing that step by step.